Backstage at Riot Fest, Day 3. It's Carne presented by the Autobarn Mazda of Evanston. Very early in Day 3, Ray from Teenage Bottlerocket came by, and it sounded like this.
It's Carne. Let's eat in the car. It's Carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
Great to be here. Perfect weather. Hopefully it maintains till 6 o'clock when we go on tonight.
Stay Rad, earlier this year. An album that contains arguably the best dad song in the history of dad songs.
Awesome.
How do you stay rad as you're a dad and the leader of this?
You got to
pop-punk
get
thing?
your kid into stuff that you're into, but you got to let him do or her do their own thing too, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So Milo and I forced them into snowboarding. You can't not snowboard, you know, but so we go shred the slopes near Laramie, Wyoming, a snowy range, and that's pretty rad.
That's totally rad.
But you know, sometimes it's like, dude, if you don't brush your teeth, I'm gonna kill your goldfish, and it's not rad. So you know, there's a time for radness, and there's a time for, hey, dude, get the shit done.
I find a kindred spirit when I listen to your music. I Want to Be a Dog, a song. Dogs really do live their best lives, don't they?
Yeah, you know, Cody was on his way to work, and he saw his dog like licking its nuts on the couch, and he's all, you know what? My life's not as good as this dog's. So I think that's where it was all inspired.
Yeah, that's the dream, for sure. What's your relationship like with social media?
You know, I try to stay away from it, but when you're on tour in the band, sometimes you get bored and you spark it up, right? Mm-hmm. And it's pretty easy to pretend to be a good dad on Instagram. So, you know, you have that shot whenever it's me and Milo in front of the Eiffel Tower in Paris or something like that. You know, like, hey, check it out, I brought my kid to Europe. But yeah, I think it could be a bad thing if you're on it for too long, right? You know, and I run into that on tour where it's all, man, did I stare at my phone for 4 hours today because I feel gross?
There's a stat I read that says we social media people go through 300 feet of content a day scrolling through our phone.
Right. That seems terrible.
Yeah, it makes me feel like an awful human being.
Right, exactly.
No doubt about it.
But yeah, when you're bored, sure. But sometimes I'll intentionally leave my phone behind at the hotel room when we go to a show, and it's like, hey, I want to be a regular dude tonight.
Well, see, and I ask because of anti-social media, but I also ask because punk rock has always been about community to me, and this seems like the quickest and best way to relate to your community, engender more community.
Yeah, totally, man. And if you're in a band, you can't avoid it to a certain extent. You need to like post your tour dates,
right? And
you need to let people know where you're going to be that night and everything. So,
stealing the covers. I know you're a music fan. I know the members of your band are music fans because the covers that you did are so obscure to the masses that they could have seemed like they were all made up bands.
Yeah, totally. And it was just, we talked about doing it for years, and we fell in love with these songs just riding around in our van. And dude, to be honest, 90% of the CDs people give us on tour we just throw away. We sign them to Roadkill Records. It's a big label. They got a lot of artists, and we've certainly signed a bunch of them. So but yeah, sometimes they end up being played, and sometimes we're like, dude, this song is fantastic. And so that was sort of the inspiration behind the whole project. Was like, hey, here's some songs we fell in love with, no one knows them. Let's record a record, and we'll pretend it's ours.
That's amazing. I've done local music shows on the radio for years in Chicago, and that is part of the thrill, like that diamond in the rough, where after listening to a whole bunch of Roadkill records, you find that one, you're like, holy shit, who are you? Where did you come from?
Totally.
Thank you for entering my life.
Yeah. Pull over the band. Let's go pick that up.
Exactly. 20 years as a band next year.
Yeah.
As you take a step back and look back on that, can you believe it? Does it seem like it went by in a blink of an eye, or does it seem like a long slog?
We've been through a lot. Things have happened.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you play a city, and especially if you're playing the same club that you're at like 12 years ago or something, you know, it brings back memories. And it's like, man, you know, what were we into when we played this shit last time? Were we as like terrible people as we were like now, as like as far as drug abuse and alcohol? But really, it has been a while, and it feels like that, especially when you bump into people you haven't seen for a while and stuff like, hey, dude, I haven't seen you for 12 years. Holy shit. Or, you know.
What's your relationship like? I have to ask because I'm a Chicagoan. What's your relationship like with the city of Chicago? Coming here,
It's just the best punk scene. It's like always been. It's the first place we've ever played where we sold more than $1,000 worth of T-shirts. You know, and at that point, we're like, we made it, man. Let's quit our jobs. Taco John's, fuck you. I'm out. So it has that, and it's just like always dependable. It's just great.
Teenage Bottlerocket, Riot Fest Day 3. Beyond Riot Fest, what can we expect from you?
Dude, we're just on the formula of record, tour, repeat, and eventually it's going to happen again. So we're running on the way with this new record, and we're going to record another one eventually and shred Chicago as much as we can.
Love it. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thanks, dude.